Hey there everyone, Brian, Bodie. Doesn't look like Bodie, but I'm sitting on the front steps and these wood piles, they have questions for you. But first thing I want to tell you is, you've been enjoying these videos. Do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on all these amazing videos about the tiny house consultant, bus life, small life, it's all here. Anyway, my log pile here wants me to ask you a question. Question is, in your tiny living, you gonna be living where it's warm? You gonna live where it's cold? You gonna live in a four-season place? Where are you gonna live? If you live in a bus, you can just hightail it to warm weather. In fact, there was one couple that I was listening to one time that said they have the butter metric, where they have a pat of butter on the countertop, and if it starts melting, they go north, and if it starts freezing, they go south. It's like, it's a good metric to stay comfortable, right? But with that, the log pile wants me to ask you this. If you're going to be staying in a place that's cold, how are you going to stay warm? Some places, some buses have wood stoves. That's pretty friggin' rad. You know, there are other options. There are little buddy heaters, diesel heaters, which I think are kind of strange, but it's an option. There's many options for staying warm in them. I'll say, to be honest, I wasn't planning on being anywhere cold, but I'm spending the winter in Tennessee, and it got a little colder than I was imagining, so I'm heating my bus warm with the oven. I know it probably ain't safe, but it works. So I will advise, do not do this if you're not safe, but I have a little electric space heater that I use. And yeah, I use my oven. I turn the oven on, I open up the doors, and it keeps me warm, you know. Really not much different than a little buddy heater, but again, this is sort of my own perspective. Don't take my word for it. But anyway, if you have a wood stove, you can chop a bunch of wood. You know, wood stoves, again, fantasy, reality, everyone. There's a reality and there's a fantasy to wood stoves, you know. There's a romanticism to wood stoves. It's great. You warm yourself by the fire, but you gotta chop the wood, carry water, all this stuff. But wood stoves are an amazing source of heat, especially if you live in a wooded area. Wood's free, except for the sweat equity you got put in to chop the wood. And then you have the Dickinson marine heater for boat and RV. It's a wonderful heater from what I heard. I've seen a number of bus life people have them. My only sort of concern about it is, from what I understand, the fuel that you have to use for it is specific to that product, right? So you have to have these little wood block heater fuel blocks that are basically just dedicated to that. So the Dickinson heater is awesome. It's a bit of a high price point, but it's definitely worth it. Like I said, the only downside, unlike a wood stove, you can just gather wood wherever. The Dickinson heater does an awesome job, and I think it even has a thermostat in it as well. It does require a flue, so like a wood stove, you'd have to send a flue up through the roof. So that's another option. All right, so just things to consider as you are potentially moving into the tiny living thing. How are you going to keep yourself warm? Because one luxury of living tiny is you can get to break all the rules. You don't have to follow society's rules anymore. You can do whatever you want, right? So anyway, things to consider. The log pile on my stairs just wanted to ask you that question. So he's asking it instead of Bodie the bus. It's the log pile. Anyway, be well, everyone, and see you on the next one.